Do you struggle to connect with your glutes? Okay, do you have flat butt syndrome? Sometimes they call it mom butt. Basically, it's just your glutes have kind of just shut down, and a lot of times your pelvic floor has compensated because your glutes aren't firing as they should, or they're clenched all the time. And so, like I've said in other videos, when your glutes, or any muscle for that matter, clenches all the time and holds on for dear life, it weakens, it atrophies, because you don't get that full lengthening and that full contraction, and you need that to have strong muscles, okay? So one of the things I see very frequently when I go into lying on the belly, like those leg lifts, prone leg lifts, is people using their hamstrings more than their glutes. And what happens when the hamstring fires first before the glutes is it pushes the femur forward in the socket, which can lead to hip impingement and issues. So we want to make sure the glute is the first thing to fire, and then maybe the hamstring will kind of pick up after the fact. But this is a really great exercise to kind of give some tactile feedback and try to create that mind-body connection, so you can test to see, is it my hamstring firing or is it my glute? And we want it to be the glute. So come down onto your belly, and you're gonna take your hands, and you can just rest your head and turn to the side. And you're gonna take your hands and place them under the bony parts of your hip, known as the ASIS. Just a couple fingers is good. All right, and your feet are hip width apart. And you should have, probably a little bit of space, like hopefully, you're not sticking your butt way out, and you don't have that anterior tilt, and you're not clenching your butt, okay? We just wanna be in a relaxed position here. So your hips, your hip bones should be pretty well close to contacting the mat, okay? Now from here, we're gonna scoop the belly open in like we're trying to get a piece of paper under there. It does not affect the position of my pelvis. It helps kind of to solidify it. So if you pull the belly up and in, you shouldn't feel the pelvis moving in any way. Now, we're going to scoop that belly up and in. Before we even begin, let's just see if you can't just find that contraction of the glutes without any movement. And it can be difficult. I know for me, I'm kind of starting to get the left glute in my body firing after surgery. Pain can be one of those things that shuts muscles off. I had a labral tear, so my left glute learned to not fire because it got scared because it felt pain when that glute fired. So it decided, you know what, we're not coming to the party anymore. So it's a matter of retraining. So we scoop that belly up and in, try to find that glute squeeze before we even start, all right? And then from here, we're gonna add on a little bit of movement. Now we're trying to keep the same amount of pressure on those fingers, okay? So you shouldn't, as you lift your leg, if all of a sudden you're like, oh, I'm squeezing, like I'm pinching my fingers like crazy with that hip weight or those hip bones, you're getting your hamstring working first, and that's pushing your femur forward, which is pushing your pelvis into a position as well. So scoop the belly up and in, fire the glute, then lift, and try to maintain that same amount of space. Now, if you go super high, your pelvis is gonna have to shift to get that leg off, or to get that leg up. So, it doesn't have to be super high. Even try to get it just off an inch or two. Can you maintain it without squishing the hand? And then try the other side. And you'll find it's helpful, again, if you scoop the belly up and in, squeeze that butt, find a gentle lift. So you should really feel, and if you want, use your hand. Can you feel your glute harden? If you just lift up and it's still pretty soft here, your hamstring's probably working a little bit more. So again, that lifting and lowering, and you'll notice just by that small movement, once you start to do it correctly, how much more you actually feel when doing it. And then hopefully your back muscles, those paraspinals, aren't overfiring as well to compensate for the fact that the glutes, again, are not coming to the party. So give that a little try. It's pretty mind-blowing, and it's really hard when you first try to do it. So don't be surprised. I know when I first tried it, I was like, it took me quite some time to kind of find a little groove, but keep at it. Find that mind-body connection. That's the only way to kind of improve the form and to get those muscles firing as they should.